Why nice guys get slaughtered. Machiavelli's ruthless truth. Machiavelli knew the world doesn't reward kindness, it devours it. Nice guys don't finish last. They don't finish at all. Why do the polite, the kind, the agreeable always get overlooked, disrespected, even destroyed? Why does the ruthless man rise while the nice man gets used? You've seen it. The guy who gives everything, ignored. The one who holds back, chased. The man who forgives, walked over. The one who draws blood, respected. It seems backwards, doesn't it? But it's not. The answer lies in Machiavelli's darkest wisdom. Kindness without strength isn't kindness. It's an invitation to be exploited. He wrote, "He who is good all the time will come to ruin among the great number who are not good." And just like that, the nice guy's fate is sealed, unless he wakes up, unless he evolves. Because what comes next is survival, not sweetness. Machiavelli didn't sugarcoat it. He said it plain. Men are ungrateful, fickle, and deceitful. And yet, most men still walk into the world hoping to be liked, hoping that if they're kind enough, helpful enough, agreeable enough, they'll be protected. But here's the truth. The more agreeable you are, the easier you are to exploit. Nice guys overextend. They overgive. They say yes when they should say hell no. And people see it, not as strength, but as submission. Because in the real world, kindness without boundaries looks like weakness. You think you're being generous. They think you're easy. You think you're helping. They think you're harmless. And in a world ruled by power, the harmless are eaten first. Let this sink in. What you call kindness, others see as softness. And softness doesn't survive power games. But if that made your stomach turn, good. Because what comes next will flip the game. Most men chase love. They want to be liked, admired, approved of. But Machiavelli knew something darker. Love is fragile. Fear is firm. He said it clearly. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because love is conditional. It's based on emotion, on mood, on memory. One mistake, one disagreement, and love vanishes. But fear stays. Fear creates order. You don't obey your boss because you love him. You obey because you fear the cost of disobedience. You don't follow rules out of affection. You follow them because breaking them has consequences. And here's the harsh truth. The nice man seeks love. He wants to be liked. He fears rejection more than he fears failure. But the ruthless man, he understands leverage. He doesn't beg for affection. He commands presence. People don't have to like you to respect you, but they do have to respect you if they fear what happens when they don't. Because when fear enters the room, people sit up straight. They choose their words carefully. They remember you. That's the difference. Love fades, but fear endures. And if you're still clinging to love, then you haven't even begun to understand what power really is. Now here's where it gets even colder. The ruthless man doesn't just create fear. He uses boundaries as a weapon. The truth is, nice guys don't fail because they're bad people. They fail because they still believe the world is fair. They believe if they just work hard, if they're kind, patient, agreeable, success will find them. Respect will follow. But the world plays a different game. It plays by Machiavelli's rules. It rewards perception. It rewards power. It rewards those who know when to smile and when to strike. While the nice man holds the door open, someone else walks through and takes the throne. While he waits to be chosen, the ruthless man rewrites the script. So stop asking, why doesn't the world see my worth? Ask instead, am I playing the right game? Because pawns don't lose for being weak. They lose for thinking they're kings. And in the game of life, only one survives. Not the kindest, not the most liked, the most strategic. Let's keep going. It gets darker from here. Nice men hate confrontation. They think walking away is strength, that silence means wisdom. But Machiavelli would laugh, because he knew avoiding the fight is not nobility. It's surrender. When the moment comes to draw a line, to speak with fire, to defend what is yours, the nice man shrinks. He hopes someone else will step in. He tells himself, it's not worth it. But what he doesn't realize is, every time he avoids conflict, he gives away ground, power, respect, position, and guess who takes it? The man who isn't afraid to offend, the man who doesn't flinch when it's time to strike. You think avoiding the battle will make you safe, but it doesn't. It makes you a target, because the wolves don't respect sheep, and they never spare the quiet ones. Here's the brutal truth. He doesn't set traps, he assumes honesty, and that assumption becomes his downfall. Because when you're blind to manipulation, you're not kind, you're vulnerable. You'll trust the wrong business partner, fall for the wrong woman, let the wrong friend stay too close for too long, and by the time you realize it, the damage is done. So here's the shift. Stop assuming, start verifying. The boy trusts, but the man, he tests. Not because he's paranoid, but because he's been burned before, and he won't be burned again. Trust is earned, not gifted, and if you want to survive in a ruthless world, that's a rule you can't forget. Here's the uncomfortable truth. To wolves, sheep are not friends, they're food. The nice man doesn't see it coming. He thinks loyalty protects him. He believes obedience is respected. He gives his best work, his time, his silence, and someone else uses it to climb higher. Because the ruthless, they don't waste effort. They find someone willing to serve. Then they take everything they need. They flatter you, praise your good heart, call you dependable. But it's a game. Because while you're playing nice, they're playing chess. They use your consistency as a crutch. They hide behind your loyalty. They take credit for your ideas. And one day, you'll look up and realize you built the throne, but someone else is sitting on it. Here's the line no one wants to say: the nice man works, the ruthless man wins. And unless you wake up to that truth, you'll spend your whole life building other men's empires, while yours never begins. Here's something most men never realize. The nice guy doesn't just want to be liked, he needs it. He says yes, not because it's right, but because he can't bear the thought of someone being upset with him. He overgives, over-explains, over-apologizes, and before he knows it, his sense of self isn't coming from within, it's coming from the approval of others. That's not kindness, that's dependence. Machiavelli warned about this. He said a ruler must stand alone, make decisions without seeking applause, because once you beg for validation, you give away power. People smell it, they see your neediness, and they either use it or lose respect for you. That's the quiet tragedy of the nice man. He believes he's being good, but what he's really doing is waiting for someone else to tell him he's enough. And here's the brutal truth. He who lives for others' approval dies by their rejection. You don't rise by being accepted. You rise by being undeniable. Let me say it straight. Power begins the moment you say no, not maybe, not I'll think about it. But the nice man, he avoids confrontation. He bends, he explains, he gives just one more chance until his time, his energy, his very identity isn't his anymore. He says yes to everyone and becomes nothing to himself. Here's the truth. The world doesn't hate boundaries. It secretly craves them. The man who refuses disrespect, who cuts off freeloaders, who says, "This far, no further," he becomes rare, and anything rare is respected. But niceness dissolves those lines until you're walked on, stepped over, forgotten. Machiavelli wouldn't beg, he wouldn't plead. He'd stand, no matter the cost, because he knew the harsh truth. The man who cannot say no cannot rule. You don't earn power through permission, you earn it through ruthless self-respect. Imagine this. You walk into a room, no fake smile, no need to impress. You speak less, but when you do, everyone listens. You don't beg for respect. You command it, not through words, but through presence. Because when you've stopped needing approval, they feel it, and they shift. They no longer see someone to manipulate. They see someone to follow or fear. And that's the moment. The nice guy dies, and something else is born. Not cruel, not arrogant, but calm. A man with edges, a man with boundaries, a man they can't push because he doesn't move. Machiavelli didn't tell you to be a monster. He told you to stop being prey. Because power isn't loud, it's silent, still, certain. And when you carry that, you never need to ask for respect again. You are the respect.